Welcome to the Disconnected Gamer Podcast, where we reconnect with life and gaming. I'm one of your hosts, Andrew, also known as J. Bond. With me, as always,
It's Michael.
your boy Mike.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a niche.
You do. Why do you
Trying to
say
find an
niche?
intro. I don't know.
Everybody's got a way of
That's
saying
that's the term I'm thinking of right now. But I'm trying to find a balance.
No.
Yin and yang.
It's the way you pronounce the word niche. Niche. I say niche.
Yeah, I don't know. Niche.
I'm
niche.
probably saying it wrong. I'm from Boston. We don't
No,
know
I
how to
think
fucking
it's
speak.
niche. I don't know.
I'm sure if you were in Europe, they'd be like, it's niche.
Niche. That sounds like someone's name. In there.
Chalice. Like chalice.
Yeah.
Chalice. I need the chalice.
Niche.
It is episode 33. The big 3-3. And we are again bringing you a slightly shorter episode than normal because we're trying to record a few in advance. Because next weekend you're going to be,
I will be in Kansas City for the first.
I assume, Kansas
First,
City.
yeah, it's to be their first convention or for that title. I don't know.
The first Kansas City Comicon, you mean?
First Kansas City Comicon, yeah.
Gotcha.
They try to get some big guests.
Is it going to be, it's the same thing as like San Diego Comic-Con, Boston Comic-Con,
I don't know if it's a part of that. I don't know if it's a part of the Comic-Con.
or they're just using the name?
They're just using the name, but they've got the original Red Ranger,
Yeah.
Austin St. John, and the actor that played Slade in Arrow, Manu.
All right, so you said this is gonna probably be like the worst edited one of all of them.
Oh God, yeah.
Because it calls dropping.
Dropping.
So just like if you're like listening to the podcast, and then you hear something like this, assume that meant that I had to cut it. Whatever. It'll be. I'm sure them listening to it now, it'll be better than it.
Right.
It probably is in the audio files that it's.
Right. I mean, even if
cranking
it
out.
started all over, whatever, or not start over, but basically, essentially, just
Repeat everything? No, it's
Split.
fine. It's fine. We're good. You were saying that Austin St. John and
Austin St. John,
the guy
dude from
Arrow.
Arrow, and then Lord of the Rings guy, Sean Astin. I forgot.
Nice.
Right. And then actor from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Hodor.
I wonder if
I don't
if Sean Astin's going to be there. I wonder if Rob Paulsen's going to be there. He's the voice in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well. Him and Sean Astin are the two of the turtles.
I'll have to relook.
Because Rob Paulsen's a pretty fun, cool guy. He did the podcast with Kind of Funny, and it's probably
Nice.
is up there as one of like my favorite guests that they've had on the show. So really, they had a really good discussion.
I'm sure he was Fox and Metal Gear Solid, but anyways,
Maybe, I don't know.
I'll his name. But yeah, first one should be fun. Get to meet a lot of people.
Boston Comic Con was actually this weekend, but I didn't think
You
about
have
it.
to go to one of those.
I do need to go. And I have friends who
Check it
go,
out.
and I'm always just like, this is stupid. I should be going. But like tickets always sell out crazy fast, and one of my good friends actually that I usually go out with on Wednesday nights, he went solely to get an autograph from Stan Lee, and I guess it was like $100 to get an autograph.
I can see why.
It makes sense, but like he got one for himself and he got one for his brother. And the whole thing was that Stan Lee's like 92, 93. He's like, he's not going to be around forever, right?
True.
So he was like, and he's been an inspiration in my life. My brother's a big fan. So like, I'm going to spend the money and get the autographs. And I like, for me, I'd much rather have the picture than the autograph. Is the reality of the situation. I'd rather have the visual memory of knowing that I took a picture with this person, because the autograph is
Exactly.
it's ink on a piece of paper, right? It doesn't hold the same type of value to me as like a photograph would. Like I would much rather have a photograph of like me and like a president than a president's signature, even though a president's signature on a piece of paper is worth a ton of money.
Worthless.
No, worth a ton of money. Godly
Really?
amounts of
Wow.
money. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Dang. This is actually kind of one of the coolest things ever. They have an Autobot to sign, and Autobot, like, they call it I think they call it like an auto pen. So like, they've had them for a little while now. So like, Bush had one, Obama has one, and Clinton probably had one too. And so he signs his name, and then they build a machine that literally signs his signature with a pen.
Huh.
because he has to sign so much stuff that when he like responds to people's letters, he writes the letters and the auto pen thing signs it, right? So when if you were to write the president and he wrote you back, it's most likely an auto signed letter, but it's still worth something because it's a letter from the president, right? If you have one that's legit signed by a president, like his actual signature,
oh man,
it's worth like thousands more.
Jeez.
So it would be very, very cool. I would like I'm a big fan of America and American politics. As much as I don't particularly care for Barack Obama, which I don't think is a stranger to anybody. Having his we should get Obama on the show. So we'll tweet him out at Barack Obama. Come on the DG cast. Let's talk about gaming. He probably plays games.
Mobile counts, whatever.
Yeah, he probably plays NBA Jam. On Fire Edition.
I would hope so.
I hope so. He only plays himself.
Right. Plays as Clinton.
But yeah, having a signature of a president is awesome. So like if there was an opportunity where I could meet him and get his signature, totally would. I think meeting a president is kind of awesome. Like guys, it's only like 43 of them, 44 of them. So one out of which is bad that I don't know whether he's the 43rd or the 44th president. I should really know that. But I gotta look it up real quick. 44th president of the United States. So there you go. So there's only been 44 presidents, right? So that's kind of cool, right?
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
That's the ultimate club, the ultimate gentleman's club, right? One of 44. It's only a handful of presidents that are alive at one point in time because they don't live forever. But
it is what it is.
It'd be pretty sweet to get a president's autograph. But I'd rather have the picture with the president.
Right. I feel like that'd be a little bit worth more.
It's not worth any money. It's just worth more to me because it's putting a picture of the president's signature on the wall. It's like, the president signed something for you. That's really cool, right? Whereas opposed to, holy shit, is that you next to? Is that you doing the bunny ears on Obama right there? Like,
right. It has more emotional value.
Yeah, so I think I'd be psyched to take a picture. To go back to where we started, I would much rather have a picture with Stan Lee than an autograph.
True.
Because I can always say, remember that time I met Stan Lee? That was fucking awesome. Remember that time I met such and such a person? I'm much happier with the meeting of people, let alone like getting a signature. That's why like when we go to these conventions and you get to meet these people, like it's so awesome. And I'm like, and the whole time I'm just thinking, can I get a selfie with this person? Can I get a selfie with this person? Can I get a selfie with this person?
Right.
Because I'd rather like it's doubt in my mind that I'll get another selfie with Greg Miller at PAX Prime, and then I gotta catalog them because I have one from Prime like 2 years ago, then I have one from East, then I have one from Prime, then I have one from East, then I have one from Prime, and like I want to put them all in a row and be like, hey, look at our fucking stupid faces,
right?
Because
that'll be the thumbnail for the next episode, or
for my episode. Or the fact that like. For a while, I always changed my Twitter header my Twitter icon was the picture of me and Greg for a while.
Then you bastard.
Hey man, you come to these conventions, you can meet him too.
Fair enough. Whatever, man.
I ain't nobody special, man. He takes a lot of selfies.
That makes me feel more better.
But like some people have Greg Miller sign, like they have them sign like their PS Vitas or their PlayStation hardware cover, the hard drive cover, sign your controllers, whatever. Like, and I think that's totally cool. And if that's what you want, I think go for it. Like, if you want the signature, absolutely. Yeah. I much rather have a picture with them.
Right. That's true.
So,
what's I got a picture with? Boom.
Yeah. So that would be. That would be me. I would get the picture. If it was a president or a famous person, I'd still get the picture.
Right. I'm trying to get a lot of pictures.
Yeah, because it's just I don't know. I just like.
Right. Especially if there's an after, or yeah, there's supposed to be after parties. So
Oh, there's always after parties, but I mean, I could just bump into him at on the show floor and be like, "Can we quickly get a picture?" And he'd probably be like, "Yeah, sure." I mean,
oh yeah,
most people, in my experience, my personal experience, that I have bumped into or come across that are like,
oh hey, just like
they're pretty cool.
right.
I've only met like a handful of people that have been or tried to meet people and have been like, that's kind of ridiculous.
It's like a turn off, yeah, because they just whatever walk
Yeah,
past
because
you
like
or
well, it's just because you see them on Twitter like always being all about their fans, blah blah blah,
oh
and then it's like
yeah,
you try to get like you're like legit standing there trying to get their attention, or like when you do meet them and they're just totally not what you expected. That's
hmm
that is the absolute worst. I think that's probably one of the most depressing things ever. That you like go to meet one of your biggest fans and stuff, and I think that's the like you know, I mean I love Greg Miller. He's a fantastic man, and I think that to his greatest credit is that he is exactly who you think he is, right? He's exactly that awesome person you think he's going to be when you meet him. He's 10 times better. Like,
wow.
so people always think he's super cool on podcasts and super cool in videos and super cool on live streams. Like when you meet him, he's the same. He is that cool.
Nice.
He wants to high five you. He wants to talk about video games. He wants to hear about your Vita,
Like that.
he wants to take a selfie, you
hmm
know. He's probably not going to like the problem is that I always wonder if sometimes he doesn't listen to the podcast and sometimes he does. But
He's gonna
uh
hear this and be like, "You motherfuckers."
but like there was this when we were at PAX Prime last year, we were all hanging out and he saw like one of his friends come into the bar that we were in, and his friend must have completely glazed over Greg being there. And so Greg was like, "All right, he would like looked at me and was like, "Do you want to have a little fun?" And I was like, "Sure." No, I don't want to have any fun. I came to PAX East to have no fun. This is the no fun zone. Don't you intrude. And so he's like, all right, I'm going to go buy a Shirley Temple, and I want you to go over and tap that guy on the shoulder and tell him compliments from the gentleman in the Mizzou shirt. And I'm like, compliments, gentleman in the Mizzou shirt? I got it. So he's like, all right, I'll be right back. He goes, he gets a Shirley Temple. I walk over, I tap the guy on the shoulder, and him and his friends are like, who the fuck is this kid? And I'm just like, the Shirley Temple compliments of the man in the Mizzou. And I like, back step out of the way and point to Greg, and he like takes the drink and he's like, "Oh my God, Greg! Like I missed, how you been?" It's like,
Nice.
but it was just kind of funny because it's like I think that was probably the first time I had actually like been I guess quote hanging out with Greg, and
Nice.
like he was like, let's have some fun. So
Right. Got to be
but I
included
like
in something awesome.
I love hanging out with a lot of people. Like PAX East this year, I was hanging out with the Filthy Casual guys. I kept going by
Nice.
their booth, checking out Jump Jet Rex, talking about shirts, talking about
Nice.
games.
Get me a shirt. Yeah.
Yep, yeah. So, I can pick you up a shirt at PAX because I'm going. So yeah, so you're doing Kansas City Comicon this
True.
upcoming weekend, which is why we probably won't be able to record. And then the weekend after that is
PAX.
PAX, I believe, right?
Yep. I believe so. Yeah.
I gotta like look at the calendar because no, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah, so it's because this weekend is the 7th, which is Kansas City. Then it's the 14th is the next weekend. And then the 21st, and then the 21st, and then the 28th. So it's your Kansas City Comic Con this week. Then we have 2 weeks on, and then the 28th to the 30th or 31st, I'll be in Seattle for PAX Prime, which is totally rad. I'm just really psyched. I'm really excited because I never get to go. I never get to go anywhere. So like the two big things I get to go to every year.
PAX.
Is PAX and PAX.
Yep.
It's like PAX East and PAX Prime, and like it's always beneficial because I live just outside of Boston. Like PAX East is super easy to go to, and like thankfully because we do this, we do the podcast, we do the gaming stuff, we do live streaming. Like I get a media badge, so that at least I never have to worry about not having a badge.
Mm-hmm.
That is the one thing that like as a I mean, I hate to call myself a content creator because I feel like we don't really create. We create content, right? But like we don't create a ton of content. Like there are tons of other people doing
Right.
far better than we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it's very cool that at least in that sense, I never ever have the stress of having to fight for a badge.
Right.
And that, like, I remember when I was the first year I went to PAX, and I couldn't get all the days, and then I lucked out and was able to get a spare day because a friend of mine had a 3-day pass, but he let me use his 3-day pass because his brother wasn't going to be there for Saturday, but his brother needed a badge for Sunday, so I had a Sunday badge and no Saturday badge, so I gave him the 3-day pass, and he gave me the 3-day pass, I gave him the Sunday badge, so that on Sunday when we met, so that I could go on Saturday, and then on Sunday he could go with his brother, and we met up and swapped our badges back, so that he had his 3-day badge that he was, that he had bought, and I had my Sunday badge. But I still got to go for Saturday because I had the badges. But we swapped just because he was coming from New Hampshire and I was coming from where I am in Massachusetts. So that way we didn't have to because I was getting in early so that I could get in and everything. That way we didn't have to worry about it. We would both be able to get in on Sunday, no problem, and then we would just meet up at some point during the day, which we did. And even then, I didn't have an attendee. I had just a regular attendee badge, and it was really hard to get time to meet with people. But you just gotta, if you really want to do this, you just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Do it.
Bacardi Cola.
Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said PAX East next year, so just do it. No. It's harder when you just have a regular attendee badge, only because I didn't know this at the time, right? So the next year I was writing for Radio PlayStation, so I was like, they have a media thing, I should just try for a media thing, right?
This is okay.
That was so we're doing the origin story of PAX East. I didn't know that a media badge existed, right? I had no idea. I just thought it was one of these unattainable things that only IGN and Polygon and Kotaku, and Fox News or whatever, they weren't the only ones who could get them.
Right.
So I was at the time I was writing for Radio PlayStation, and I was like, I'm gonna just apply. Why not, right? I write for a gaming website, and we'll see what happens, right? And they gave me a badge, and I was like, holy crap! And when you get on the media list, the cool thing is that you get all these emails before the convention to book actual appointments, and that is probably the coolest part about having the media badge, is that you get to schedule appointments to check out certain games. I didn't get to schedule anything cool. I feel like saying that makes me kind of a dick, because I totally got to play cool games, right? I get to play tons of cool indie games. I did, but I'm not.
I guess what you
I wasn't getting AAA titles. I wasn't getting special time with Naughty Dog or special time with Xbox. Maybe I could now because I have more contacts than I did 3 years ago, but 3 years of doing this, I'm only slightly better than I was the first time. It's just but it's one of those things it's so cool going, and I love going to PAX. It's a rush. It's my favorite time of the year. My favorite 2 times of the year is PAX East and PAX Prime, because it's the one time where I get to spend 4 days hanging out with everybody who loves the same shit that I do.
Right? So that's why I love conventions.
Right?
You get to hang out with people that just love what you love, and everyone's awesome.
Exactly. And
especially when you get to meet people like Greg, and
we get to hang out with Greg Miller. Get to hang out with Greg Miller.
Or even just hanging on the booth and getting to know some of the devs and stuff.
Oh yeah, the devs are fantastic people, and they're great. And most of them are just as excited as we are about the games that they make. And it's weird. It's totally I want to say it's symbiotic, but it is symbiotic because we both benefit from it. But it's the excitement I get from getting to check out a game before it's released, and my excitement for the game is the the people who are making these games have the same reaction to our excitement to play the game, right? I'm psyched to play this new game, and they're psyched that I want to play. They're psyched that I'm psyched to play their new game, right? Because they've been sitting, coding this game, building this game, doing this artwork, doing all this stuff, and then they make this build, and they've got it at PAX, and they're sitting behind these booths, and they're hoping people rush in and come to play the hell out of their game, and that that moment where like you get to hang out with the person who literally made the game, like you do not get that you do not get that experience anywhere else.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
and I imagine it's no different than when you go get to meet a certain cosplayer at a convention and like you're like, "Oh my god, I loved your such and such a thing that you did, this costume, this character, this whatever." Like
Right.
they're like, "Oh my god, that's so fucking awesome." It's like when you meet a musician, like when you meet when you meet one of your favorite bands after a show. You know, like you play a small show. You know, I've met Ace Enders from the early November. Like he's a really cool dude. Andrew McMahon. I've met Andrew McMahon a couple times. He was in something corporate. Then it was Jack's Mannequin. Now it's Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness. I met him a bunch of times back in the day. It's just awesome. Like there's no like if you've never been to a convention and you really want to go get a couple of your friends,
sure.
Get a couple of your friends, cram in a cheap hotel, get as many passes as you can for whatever days,
right? Just go
once if you can.
Sure.
I am so glad that I went to PAX East that first time.
Right.
And it sucks when you go alone, but like a couple of my friends from school were like, "Oh, I go to PAX East, like blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Well, cool, maybe I'll get to bump into you." And, I did get to bump into them there. And it was like, "Oh, what games have you checked out? What games did you check out? I checked out these. I met this guy. Come check out this game. Let me bring you over." Like,
nice.
It's awesome. It really is. It's awesome. Yeah. It's one of the best things in the world. So if you're into that kind of stuff, like go,
yeah, for sure.
And I know that like PAX is harder and harder every year to get a pass.
Right.
PAX East sold out in like 5 minutes. PAX Prime sold out in like a minute.
Right. Yeah.
And what's weird
is every day.
Is PAX Prime, they didn't do like 4-day passes. They just did them as individual passes or something. Like they weren't selling 4-day passes because like so many people were buying them that couldn't use them for the 4 days or something. Gotcha. So they were like, just it's all individual day passes. So you buy the days you need.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but obviously, we discussed this before on the podcast. I'm actually going to be on a panel at PAX Prime. This will be my first panel ever. I'm nervous, but I'm cautiously optimistic that it's going to be rad. The panel is called The 5-Year Plan, Your Roadmap to the Industry. It is kind of a non-traditional take on getting into the gaming industry because, from our perspective, me and you, like we've been doing this podcast since last November. So we're almost 1 year into this podcast, and at the same time, I'm now like in year 3 of my 5-year plan, I suppose, because I'm air quoting like I always do, right?
Putting the puzzle pieces together.
I've been, because I've been working quotes in the gaming industry, but I'm not really working in the gaming industry. I've just been doing all this stuff that's hopefully setting myself up to be in a better position to get the job that I ultimately want in the industry. And so the panel is kind of focused around that concept of it's not just a straight up like apply for the job, get the job, right? It's the non-traditional like this is all the other ways you can still participate in the industry because like, from this point we're sitting here, we don't make any money doing this podcast. We don't make any money streaming. We don't make any money on the website. We have regular real life jobs that help us do this because we do this out of a labor of love, right?
Right. Sure.
But as a benefit, people always say, well, how did you get a media pass, right? Well, because I do this stuff in the industry, right? I'm putting this work in that you can do yourself, and you can probably get a media badge. As of this particular year, I noticed they've changed some of the requirements, and it's a little stricter. I also have friends who've applied for media badges and got denied. I remember last year at PAX East, one of the guys I know that writes for a legitimately printed newspaper in a city. Like he writes for an actual printed newspaper. He has a games column. He got denied, and he sent the message.
Legit sources and everything.
He was like, it's a Like, how many people write for a legit printed newspaper anymore? And so then they were like, oh, like, our bad. And, he did get a pass. But, I have people that I know that have applied and got denied because, like, for whatever, like, then it's not like they give you exactly a reason. They just kind of say, hey, we're sorry, you've been denied. And I've been denied for E3 every time I've applied.
Right.
But, maybe fourth time's a charm, maybe fifth time's a charm, right? I'm still going to apply to E3 next year. And who knows, maybe by next year I'll be lucky enough to be sponsored by a company to go. They'll want me to go and talk shit about games and stuff. Like, I don't know.
It would be legit.
But the whole concept of the panel is that it's myself, Malik Forte, who writes for The Nerdist, Brittany Brombacher, who's at Blonde Nerd, Trey, who works at Designed by Humans. They make all those rad T-shirts, and then my buddy Dave Voiles, who's a developer with Microsoft. He works with the indie dev, kind of the ID at Microsoft or ID at Xbox division, doing like game dev stuff. But so I've got people from various parts of the gaming industry in various forms, and basically we're just kind of explain how we had like non-traditional ways that got us into the industry, and how it's not necessarily something that just happens, and in some cases you are better off setting yourself up with a good foundation of getting into the industry. So there's this element of, hey, if you're listening to this podcast right now, you can do a podcast right now. Like, hey, if you're watching this panel, and you want to do a panel one day, and you're sitting in the audience at PAX being like, man, I kind of want to be on a panel, I want to sit up there on that stage, you can do it. Right?
Sure.
Like, and you don't have to be Greg Miller, and you don't have to write for IGN, and you don't have to be a partnered Twitch streamer, like, because I'm none of those things, right? And I've managed to make it happen. Like, I've made it so that I've connected with these people. I've established relationships. I've, established myself as a person. Not that I think I'm a very good source of anything. I think I'm kind of the weakest link.
But I mean, still though,
but it's cool, right?
You've gotten to the point where you have a panel.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird.
Because I mean, not everyone can just put it in and get accepted.
Right, and that's the other thing, right? It's like you've got to counter out the fact that there's only 4 days of PAX Prime and 3 days of PAX East, so there's only so many times for panels, and there's only so many panels that there can be. So you've got to submit an idea it's going to get picked, right? And I submitted this idea. I contacted everyone in advance and was like, hey, if I, here's this idea I have for a panel. Will you commit to being on the panel with me? And, there were a couple of people that said no. There were a couple of people that didn't reply. And there were a couple of people that said yes. And the 5 of us are going to be sitting up on that stage for an hour Monday morning at PAX Prime talking about non-traditional ways to get into the gaming industry, Yeah. Because there's this, there is this part of the reality where, like, I know that I'm not necessarily going to make a ton of money, right? And I foresee at least another several months, if not maybe another full year of, not actually generating any income from doing gaming-related stuff, But I'm understanding of that and willing to just push forward and keep working, right? I'm able to work a regular job that allows me to do this on the side, and maybe if I could do more of this than I do now, maybe that would increase my ability to maybe make money, right? Like if I was making tons of YouTube videos, maybe we would start making YouTube money. Start doing Twitch streams, maybe somehow you make the Twitch money, right? There's all these different ways you can make money, and all these different ways you can still participate in the industry, even if you don't make money, right? And I think there's a lot of people that just get discouraged, or they're overwhelmed, or they don't know what to do, or they're just like, well, all I do is streaming. And it's like, well, if all you want to do is streaming, then just kind of set yourself up with a path of how you want to proceed with with that goal, and then just do it.
You've got the ball, roll with it. Don't just,
don't let your dreams be dreams.
Exactly.
Or as I say, don't let your streams be dreams.
Dreams.
It's
true. It's true.
So
keep
just keep doing it. I mean, fuck, there's people listening to this podcast that will be listening to us talk, right? And when we started this back in November, we were like, nobody's gonna listen to this.
Oh yeah,
you know,
right.
and every single month I see the numbers going up. So more people are listening to us. So thank you, because
Right?
it's like legitimately thank you.
Yeah,
Because it's totally awesome every month to see that the numbers of
very
downloads,
much
you know,
appreciated.
the unique repeat listeners and all that stuff, like, is awesome. I wish you guys would tweet us. I wish you would tweet at us at the DGCast on Twitter, or tweet at me directly and like suggest topics if you really want us to pick a topic
Right, yeah.
and pick it apart. Like, we will. Like, I'm not against, you know, user submitted topics. Last episode was Icy Dude. The episode before that, or two before that, with Brian as our guest, we talked about the topic that was submitted to us with the, like, you know, retro remakes or modern remakes of retro games, or retro remakes of, or retro versions of modern games. You know, we definitely are open to whatever suggestions you want. So
let us know. Tell us what's up.
You know, and again, seriously, you know, we probably would have been seriously discouraged if we didn't see numbers, you know? So
Yeah.
whoever the first person that ever downloaded this podcast was, yeah, thank you, sir or ma'am, because you're awesome. And to the people who are still listening, or to the new people who found or stumbled upon our podcast, like, honestly, thank you, because, you know, you guys listening fuels my passion to keep doing this stuff. You know, it keeps the two of us on our toes, you know. So we're gonna keep doing this, keep playing games, keep doing streams, keep trying to make YouTube videos, which I'm not very good at. So I just don't know what the hell I'm doing. I literally have no idea. Like, I know how to stream, I don't know how to very good capture and edit and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things, like, I'm going to figure it out. It may take me a little bit longer than some other people, but I'm going to figure it out. I will do it. I'm going to start trying to make YouTube videos.
Right.
You know, the pod,
easier
even the
near each other.
Yeah, that is the struggle. But, you know, even the podcast in and of itself has gotten better, right?
I feel like it has.
I think, like, my editing skills of, like, cutting when we have issues has gotten better. The recording, I think, has gotten better because, like, I got a slightly better microphone.
I'm trying to get a bit more vocal.
That's true. I also just need to shut up.
No, it's fine. I think what I've been told, no one's like, oh, you need to talk more. I've either heard, you know, when we vented about this, like, you know, be more positive, or, you know, just keep going, keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like, no one has said, hey, you know, stop.
Tell that Andrew kid to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, just, hey, keep going. We'd like to hear more. Or, what are you guys talking about this week?
Yeah.
You
know?
Which
is totally awesome. So, shout out to you, people.
Everybody gets a shout out.
Everybody. Shout out to Oprah Winfrey.
Giving out schools and cars and
whales. Everybody gets a humpback whale. But yeah. So anyways, we've got Kansas City Comicon next week, and then 2 weeks from then, I'll be in Seattle at PAX.
Yeah.
So super exciting. I mean, and I if you're gonna be at PAX, seriously, tweet at me, find me. Like,
find them. Yeah, exactly.
I want to meet you guys. I want to say hello. Like, if you're gonna be at Kansas City Comic Con, go find Mike.
Come find me. Yeah. I'll have my phone on me. Tweet at me. Yeah, Periscope. Like, whatever you gotta do.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm gonna be
try to Periscope.
I want to Periscope, like, just dumb, like, random things, but I'm not entertaining enough on my own. So
I'll have everyone else say silly stuff.
Exactly. Like, I'm gonna, you know, I'm hoping that if I'm hanging out with Greg Miller, I'll just Periscope and be like, guys, I'm staring at Greg Miller.
Right.
Somebody's gonna be like, poke him, and I'm gonna be like, poke. It's like, take a lock of his hair.
Shh.
Yeah. Shh. But yeah, I it's gonna be awesome. I mean,
super exciting.
Yeah. So so, you know, you will probably hear from us talking about Mike in Kansas City Comic-Con in 2 weeks, I suppose, because this podcast is going to probably have we're going to have recorded this like a week and a half in advance or 2 weeks in advance, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
So whatever. It's
either way.
Yeah, it's it's going to be cool. I'll probably be doing some streams here and there as well, so you'll be able to chat with me then. But yeah, so I mean, shout out to Greg Miller. Shout out to everybody. I mean, seriously. Yeah, I mean, so anyways, I don't know. I could keep rambling.
Right, we could just keep going on. Keep on keeping on.
But at one point, gotta know when to fold your cards or the deck or whatever. You gotta know you gotta know when to cut the cheese, I think is the expression. That's not the expression. But so that's it for episode 33 of the Disconnected Gamers podcast, and we will catch you
on